Oh, कैसे हो भाई बहनों? गूगल ने क्या law तोड़ दी? Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk about has Google violated the law? What kind of law? Antitrust law. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, for big tech companies, that's the scariest type of law. Ooh boy, are you a market dominating force? Let me tell you, a lot of these companies wish they never had that designation. Now, to understand, this is a pretty serious allegation, and it's an allegation that comes from some of the lads over at r/YouTube. Now, I'm going to preface this by saying r/YouTube is for discussion about YouTube. This is a fan sub not run or owned by YouTube. It's one of the largest subreddits on the platform, and it's not run by YouTube, okay? So this post just got deleted by the actual moderators of the subreddit. So again, I wanted to look into it and see why. Because when I saw YouTube has started to artificially slow down video load times if you use Firefox, but if you use Chrome, magically your problems don't exist. I noticed, man, this could be very, very serious for YouTube, for Google, if this is true. Because to understand, antitrust is basically, the laws surrounding it basically are designed to prevent one company from getting too large. Now, last time we covered this, like 2 days ago, 3 days, I told you that Google's Chromium is probably one of the most used browsers in the world, right? The engine itself, Chromium, is used by billions around. And it's not just Google Chrome. You're using Chromium if you use Brave browser, like me, if you're using Microsoft Edge, if you're using anything of that nature. There's very few cores that aren't Chromium nowadays, and those are Firefox, as is mentioned here. I think Opera GX uses a different core, but I love you guys over at Opera, but I can't use your browser because I'm a Linux user, and you guys treat me like I'm a second-class citizen, okay? But anyways, rage aside, this post was removed, so I wanted to see exactly what was going on here. Is YouTube or Google possibly violating antitrust laws? So again, another post that came from Firefox 3 days ago said, whenever I open a YouTube video in a new tab, it's extremely slow to load. How do I fix this? And so here they're noticing YouTube's loading up its background. Now, if you're ever loading up a video, you probably notice the skeleton loading up, then the video pops in. That's, again, YouTube doing a billion things in the background to get the videos, the comments, the recommendations, everything all plugged into the skeleton, or I guess it's known as Polymer. So that video that was removed, I actually have right here for us to watch. So that Redditor whose post got removed, we have the video right here to watch. And as you can see, as they're currently loading up their video, you can see that things are slow. It's taken a little bit of time. This is 5 seconds, it seems, of a delay. And then the video loads. Now, this is allegedly on Firefox, and they go up to the top right and open a user agent changer. And over here, they claim that they are actually now loading in from Chrome. So now that they've done that, they're going to refresh the page, and lo and behold, no more 5 seconds. They're actually watching the Crab Ray video. Now, there's a better example actually over here too that I pulled up from the Firefox subreddit as well. So this is a user browsing Linus Tech Tips, and as they're loading in, you notice the page is taking literally seconds. So again, if we time it ourselves, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, okay, I didn't do the Mississippi, so probably 5-ish seconds. Then they go up to the user agent, change it to Chrome, and then watch. As they load up the video now, all right, they load up any of these videos, instant load. So that's one of the weirdest things to see. Obviously, this video is kind of damning to watch because if they're slowing down their competition, that is not good. Any prosecutor is going to look into this and say, wow, you're deliberately harming your competition just so people pick your browser instead of theirs. That, my friends, is a classic violation of antitrust. That is anti-consumer. That is what happens when you have a monopoly in the system. And remember, Google right now is in the middle of one of its biggest antitrust trials right now. In fact, one of the biggest points that they're currently going through is how they actually worked with Apple to have a search deal where basically as soon as you fire up an iPhone, they're like the de facto default browser in Safari, like you're using Google no matter what as soon as you connect out of the box. So you can see that Apple has set Google as a default engine in Safari across its products for more than 20 years. Since the browser's very first launch in 2003, over the years, the deal has morphed into a revenue-sharing system that sees Google reportedly pay Apple more than $10 billion a year to remain the default. That money, or the fact that Google is the best search engine, or a combination of the two, depending on who you ask, has kept Apple from building its own search product, switching to a Google competitor, or allowing users to choose a browser when they set up their phone. Now, while you could switch to other search engines, even on Apple devices, like I think the Yahoo, DuckDuckGo, or even Bing if you're that crazy, but even the DOJ argues in this situation that the DOJ switching is both difficult and irrelevant. People don't switch, they argue. That's why defaults are all that matters. Apple says it doesn't know whether people switch because it doesn't collect that information for privacy reasons. And while Google has been argued that people can and do switch, evidence throughout the trial has shown that Google itself knows exactly how much default settings matter. And I can argue with the DOJ. Default settings, most people when they buy a device, they never deviate from defaults anyways. Most people that aren't tech savvy just use what is like located on their device, and it is the most easiest to use. Even if you put in an option that even if you give them the option to maybe in 3 or 4 taps, you know what I mean? Switch a browser engine, most people probably won't, okay? It's kind of like the same people that if you sit them down and ask them, do you know what operating system your laptop runs on, Windows or Linux? Some people probably couldn't even answer that question. They just say, wow, that icon opens up the web browser, that icon loads up the game, and that icon puts the computer to sleep. That's as far as their knowledge goes, okay? But that's generally the idea here. That's what the argument is going. So again, being that Google has run some of the most popular services on the internet, right? Like YouTube, it would be kind of wild for Google to be leveraging those massive web assets and kind of harming the experience for people who aren't using the most popular browsing engine in the world. This would be very bad for YouTube and Google if the government started to look into this and if this was 100% true, which is exactly what I want to get down to. Is this a true situation? Is Google deliberately causing some serious harm? Let's get to the bottom of it. So one of the actual people that were looking into the code in YouTube's Polymer script found a specific function called set timeout 5E3. Now the actual page that you can dig up here is youtube.com/s desktop and this JavaScript Polymer link. So again, if we copy that, put that in right here, you'll notice, whoa, that is a lot of code, Muda. What am I supposed to do with this? This is confusing me. Again, ladies and gentlemen, let me deobfuscate exactly what that person was talking about. So right here, this function is something known as function SMB. And if you look through this actual function right here, this is actually a deobfuscated version of the code, you'll find out that it has to do a lot with obviously playing videos on their web page. But more importantly, it actually has something to do with ad interruption right here. So you see it right how they mentioned ad interrupting? Now, when they have set timeout, what that means is they're actually running a timeout, so they're artificially slowing down a process. Now, this isn't just me calling this specific function out. Other users like Enderman called out set timeout function resolve 5E3. So again, 5E3 in this is actually translated to 5,000 milliseconds, which is the timing that we use to calculate timeouts anyways. 5,000 milliseconds is 5 seconds, and that explains the videos we saw earlier, right? So in this, I actually wanted to try this for myself. I wanted to see if YouTube is deliberately slowing down videos for me. So in order to get down to the bottom of this, is YouTube Google technically violating the law by actually harming their competition for no reason? Yeah, we're going to look into this, okay? We're going to get to the actual facts of the situation. Now here I've got Linus's channel opened up right here. We're not here to watch videos, but what I have is the Firefox web browser, okay? This is Firefox running underneath Windows right now. I wanted to get rid of Linux just so I can try to match a computer that generally most people will have. So inside over here, under Firefox, I'm going to open up, I'm back, and I'm so excited, Threadripper 7000. So I'm going to open this video up and, oh, that ain't looking good. Chief, that is not looking good. Whoa! Did it crash? Did the page just crash on me? Whoa! That can't be true. Okay, let's try a refresh here real quick. Okay, we refreshed his page. Gonna click on the video. Okay, it loaded up really well. All right, okay. I'm gonna go back and load up another video. I can't believe this is 200. Okay, it loaded up really fast. It actually as fast as I would expect any other browser to load up. Now again, I'm gonna open up Chrome as well. Okay, I'm gonna load up Google's official default de facto browser. They wish everyone used this. I'm gonna use it just for the sake here. So I'm gonna copy that link. I'm gonna drop it in here and I'm gonna hit enter. And it loads. It loads just fine, actually. You got the ad and everything. So in this case in time, I'm going to switch out the user agent and see maybe if enabling Chrome is going to change anything here. So I'm going to apply that. I'm going to run this, and it says user agent is set. I'm going to hit refresh, or I'm just going to click on another video here. Everything loads up just fine. And again, if I go back and change the user agent to regular Firefox, so Firefox right here, go back, apply that in the container, and I'm just going to click on another video. Everything loads up just fine. So aside from that first initial bump, that little issue that we saw, it doesn't seem like this is a real thing. Now granted, maybe it's a feature that's locked to certain browsers, maybe it's a testing thing, and that's why some people caught on to it and posted a video of it on the internet. At the end of the day, I really do believe that this isn't necessarily Google or YouTube deliberately trying to break the law by hurting their competition. I think there's a couple roads that you can take it, and a lot of them are pretty harmless. For example, avenue number one probably is that this is some code that's been thrown in and haphazardly got enabled for certain users, and it's not meant to be deliberate. Obviously, I'm going to go down that route because I just tried doing this, and I didn't notice my Firefox experience being stopped. So I'm going to stick to that right now. Again, I wanted to do this myself, just so we can get a little bit of evidence on here, okay? Just so we can get a first-hand account. The other reality of this situation is maybe YouTube is putting this in, obviously, as they're constantly running their war on ad blockers right now. There's probably a good chance that this exists for YouTube to inject maybe an ad that says, please disable ad blockers, right? Or get YouTube Premium or something of that nature. I don't think, in the middle of a massive antitrust lawsuit, that Google or YouTube are ready to start breaking laws, okay? Because if this code does what it does and deliberately acts upon harming the experience of other browsers, this is gonna be pissing off every lawyer that is currently working at Google right now. Because if this was true, the US DOJ could pull this out and bring it as a pretty solid example of antitrust. And I would imagine Google lawyers would have a pretty fucking hard time arguing that. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to see if they were actually deliberately harming their competition. First-hand accounts, they don't seem to be doing that. But from what it seems here, from some people's experiences, by using other browsers, they may unintentionally be tripping a script that was designed to stop ad blockers in their campaign to fight ad blocks, okay? It seems like there are some stray bullets being sent out and harming the experience for some randos. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, honestly, I don't know what it's like being there at YouTube or being there at Google right now, especially at YouTube. I think there's a lot of focus on trying to make the site as monetizable as possible. I think during the Susan Wojcicki days, it wasn't this wild, okay? But during the Neil days, it seems like that's where we're at. And this isn't the first time that Google's been accused. You know, they've been accused as far back as 2019 for allegedly deliberately slowing YouTube on rival browsers that weren't Chrome, right? So again, you know, people who are switching their user agents, and again, user agents are literally just identifiers on the web that tell people, again, what OS, what browser that you use. If this code is tripped because it detects a browser that's not Chrome and just starts deliberately slowing down, and that was running widespread, this would be a serious legal issue for YouTube. So again, I assume this is just a severe case of stupid oversight. That's really all I can call it, okay? And yeah. Sometimes these videos go a little dry, but I like throwing my hat into the ring because it's stuff that I understand, it's stuff that I know, and if I can kind of condense down a topic and teach you about something, then yeah. But ladies and gentlemen, hopefully if you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike if you dislike it. I am out.